A lot of the advice online when it comes to building muscle and how many sets you should be doing on each muscle group per week just comes down to excessive high volume. People think that you need up to 20 or even 30 sets per muscle group per week just to build muscle on a certain muscle group. Whereas the reality is that if you go this high, all you're really going to be doing is inducing a ton of fatigue. You're going to get super sore, you're going to get injured, and your enjoyment and your overall pleasure of actually training and going to the gym is going to significantly decrease. It's actually not really helpful to go super high volume. And the actually optimal way for you to train is completely different. And this is a routine which I've been adopting recently, which has really helped me improve my physique drastically over the last few months. So in this video, I'm going to go over exactly how many sets you should be doing per muscle group per week, which is going to give you the highest ROI and make you have rapid muscle growth. So the first point is that research has shown that the first 2 sets you do on any muscle group is going to give you about 85% of the total potential muscle growth stimulus which you can get on a muscle group in a session. So anything beyond this into your 3rd, 4th, 5th set, you're really expending a lot of energy, a lot of effort, you're creating a lot of fatigue, and you're doing it for very little to sometimes even no rewards, because you're getting virtually everything in those first 2 sets. So I used to be someone who would train for an hour and a half in the gym, and I used to do 4, 5, sometimes even 6 sets on a muscle group, and I thought it was productive. Whereas it was actually a lot more difficult for me to continually hit PRs when I was doing this and when I was doing excessive amounts of volume. And the reason for this is because there's a massive point of diminishing returns which comes after the first 2 sets on a muscle group. And once you've got everything that you need, all you're really doing after that is just inducing fatigue, and you're going to find your enjoyment for training goes down as well. Your ability to recover is significantly compromised. And therefore, when you go back into the gym next and you start training, you're going to find that your ability to progressively overload and hit PRs is going to be completely shot because you've expended too much energy on doing volume which isn't actually helping you. So when I started to realize this, and I found that the first set is going to give you about 60% or 65% of the total stimulus, the second set after that is going to give you another 40% of that first stimulus, then anything beyond this is really not worth it and it has a very low ROI. And not only that, but it's affecting your recovery. So once I actually started to cut out that 3rd set and beyond, and just did 2 hard sets on a muscle group, this is where I really started to see consistent progress. So the next point is that research has shown that hitting the muscle group 2 times per week is perfect. Anything beyond this is going to affect your recovery, whereas if you're hitting the muscle group once a week, you've recovered fully as long as you're managing with fatigue and you're managing with volume. You can fully recover in about 3 to 4 days. So I found that this is why 2 sets just works perfectly, because it gives you that 3-4 day period where you've got enough volume to hit the stimulus, but it's not too much volume where you can't recover properly. So therefore, after 3 or 4 days of resting, you're ready to go and you can hit that same muscle group again. And if you want to get really rapid muscle growth, you should be hitting the muscle group 2 times per week. So I found that when I cut down to just 2 sets and cut out everything out after that, when I got to hitting the muscle group a second time per week, 3 to 4 days later, I found that my strength was just there and my ability to hit PRs was so much easier. And the reason for this is because I was fully recovered. If you're doing 4 or 5 sets on a muscle group in one session, then your ability to actually come back 3 to 4 days later and be fully recovered is going to be compromised. And not only that, but you didn't actually really get too much out of those last 3rd or 4th set that you did in the previous workout. So I found that the most effective, best way to build a lot of muscle quickly is by just doing 2 sets, so you get the stimulus and then get out of the gym so you can fully recover. And then next time when you go back into the gym 3 to 4 days later and hit the same muscle group again, you can do another 2 sets and you're going to find that you're a lot stronger because your ability to recover is there and you've gone through that full growth mechanism and now you're ready to actually build some more muscle. So this is why 2 times per week and just hitting the muscle group for 2 sets works really well, because it means that in 3 to 4 days time you can hit the muscle group again. Whereas if you're doing 4 or 5 sets, you're going to find that you carry over too much fatigue, your strength is gone, and your ability to progressively overload is going to be compromised, and you're not going to build any muscle. My final point, which ties this all together, is training intensity. Now that you've stripped back on a lot of the volume, it just means that you can't hide behind volume as an excuse to feel productive. And now you've only got 2 sets, you really need to train hard. So this is something which has really helped me, because once I know I've only got 2 sets, it means I really need to push really close to failure in these 2 sets which I'm doing. And it's those last few reps as you get close to failure which actually really stimulate growth. If you're just training 4 or 5 sets but you're leaving 3 to 4 sets in reserve each and every set, then you're not actually triggering a growth mechanism, because muscle growth happens when you take your muscle to a place it's never been before, and when you consistently increase the stress that you put on the muscle. Whereas if you're just coasting and just doing 3 to 4 sets in reserve each set, then you're not actually sending a signal to your muscles and your brain and spinal cord that you need a change and you need to go through an adaptation to come back and grow stronger so that you can handle this additional stress. So that's why working 2 sets is important. However, it only works if you up the intensity. And increasing the intensity and cutting out the volume is the perfect formula for muscle growth. So I hope this helps you guys, and let me know what you think in the comments below.